we striking rocks? We're supposed to be actually speaking to him. Okay, check this out. In Numbers 20, the children of Israel came to Moses, and they was upset. They was tripping. Keep in mind, context, they was indoctrinated, and they had been freed from, they was indoctrinated through Egypt. 400 years of slavery. So, and in the wilderness was designed for their development. The wilderness was designed for them to sanctify them from what they were under. They were under Egypt. They were under Egypt for 400 years. They were under slavery in Egypt for 400 years. So the complaining, when you really look at the story, when you really look at it from that perspective, is like, it's understandable. However, back to them coming at Moses. So Moses and Aaron, they went to the Lord, face down, praying for a solution, looking for a solution or whatever. And God told them at the Mount Meribah to speak to the rock, and he'll get them water. So Moses was upset. Now, this is the thing that trips me out, that even though, like, we can go to God and we could pray, but there's still some unhealed wounds that are still there. And however, Moses was going to God about Israel because they wanted water. So even in that, I think also Moses was still really triggered, not only by them coming to him about water, but also as I was reading, really looking into this, in Exodus 17, I think it's verses 1 through 7. In Exodus 17, they came to him with the same problem. Came to him with the same issue. They was hungry, they was thirsty. And then even in Exodus 17, Moses was like, why are y'all testing the Lord? Why are y'all quarreling against me? Like, why are y'all, like, what was going on? So in that, now in Numbers 20, he took them to Meribah, he went to Meribah, and he struck the rock twice. Now this is Numbers 20. I'm going back to Exodus 17, but in Numbers 20, he struck the rock twice. But God did not command Moses to strike the rock this time. He told him to speak to the rock, not strike it. Now going back to Exodus 17, God did say, strike the rock. They only struck it once. They got water. But the crazy part is, this time in Numbers 20, he struck it twice. And God didn't tell him to strike the rock. He told him to speak to it. So that's the crazy part. Crazy part is, like, because he was angry, he was triggered. And this is just my thought. Just like my nerdy Bible opinion or thought, just my nerd thought or whatever, that I think the previous events in Exodus 17 triggered him and caused him to, because he started talking to him in like a particular tone too, like, you rebels, like, you just, Exodus 21 through 13, no, Numbers 20, 1 through 13, and then to get the context of why I thought he was triggered, Exodus 17 verses 1 through 7. But yeah, like, and the most sobering part about this is the fact that, like, because Moses was disobedient, I think the anger, the unchecked anger from what happened in Exodus 17 is, I believe, what caused him to be cut off. But it was his disobedience, because God told him, gave him clear instructions, speak to it, and water would come out. But he struck it. And then here's even in the midst of all of that, the favor of God, the love of God, the provision of God still happened, even in the tension of enslaved Israelites being set apart. Like, God still gave them water. They was able to drink. They was able, you know what I'm saying? So God still took care of them. So I say all that to say, I think even in the midst of all of that, like, to take it personal, or to, you know what I'm saying, like, really think about this. Even as I'm talking about this, I have to be mindful of what I'm saying or how I'm speaking or how I'm treating people, even in the midst of, like, them being angry for whatever reason, even if they're, like, dysregulated, or you kind of you peep that, like, they going through something. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm going through something, I still have to be mindful of how I'm talking or how I'm treating people. Because even as I'm sharing this is convicting, you know. And I just think it's just so important that we are mindful of what we say, how we say it, but also if we got unhealed wounds, we got to deal with them. Because, yeah, Moses was a murderer. Moses murdered a man, and Moses had a stutter. Even in Exodus 4, like, one of my favorite chapters, Moses was like, I got a stutter. Oh, how am I going to speak? And God told him, who made your mouth? So I just think that we have to, we got to check ourselves. And we still got to, you know what I'm saying, we still got to be careful to obey what the Lord tells us to do. And even in the midst of that, God can still use people with unhealed wounds. You know, they still, some people still got unchecked wounds, unchecked anger, and until we get to the point where we are actually facing that stuff, facing our pain, our trauma, our wounds, our sins, we bring them to the Lord. You know, we'll be speaking to rocks instead of always striking them, because I think they're striking even in our speaking. They're striking even in our attitudes and our body languages when we're around people. So, yeah, we got to make sure we speak into rocks and not striking them. Okay. Grace and peace.